Alright, to start, I got a Phillips head up here. Goes into something. We got a couple of 7mm, I think. Yep. Down here. Alright. And I believe this comes off somehow. Yep. And looks like we got a couple of little torques under there. So, go get that. Be right back. Alright, these seem to be T15s. Because why would we bother making all of the fasteners the same? Thanks, Ford. At least until these, they're all about the right length. These are back to the normal extra inch that you don't need. Okay, so let's put those in the bucket. Don't want to lose them. Now we got to find the screw to get this off, which I don't remember exactly what it is. I think that panel may pop off. See if we can get that. Yep. That panel pops off. I think this panel pops off. And we can unplug the switches. Go. And maybe now lift up and unplug the mirror controller, and the door is off. The door panel. So, now we got all of the, you can see how it's got the tabs that go in, so you got to get all those screws off and then you just pull straight up on it and she pops out. So now we're going to take all of the weather proofing off, give me some, maybe some better access. Put this back on with two-sided tape if I have to the window regulator. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Whatever was holding that in there has gone pop. And I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think all of this stuff is supposed to be completely cocked up like that. Fantastic. Oh boy. Fantastic. Now we see our motor. At least we can get that out of there. Easy enough. And not sure what we're going to do at this point, because it doesn't look promising. It's still on the track. The sliders are there, front and rear sliders, that's still there. But whatever this is supposed to, oh yeah, that's popped out of the top as well. I don't know if you can see that white piece in there, kind of like this. Looks like that's supposed to be like that. I wonder if it's possible to, man, what a mess. All right, well, we're gonna go get a bigger Torx, pop this motor out, and see if there's some way to maybe reroute some of this disaster, or I don't like the fact, okay, it's still attached to something. It's still attached to something on both ends. Oh yeah, that's a mess. So I'm gonna go and, like I said, get a little Torx, get that motor out, I'll show you that, and then I'm gonna probably have to do some figuring. I may have to go rip the junker truck apart to see if this is similar. They're both 03s and they're both 4-doors, so maybe we'll get lucky and it'll look kind of the same, and maybe I can just swap one out for the other one. Otherwise, I have a bad feeling. I mean, that doesn't look broken. I don't know. We're going to have to figure it out. We'll see what we got. We're going to be back in a few. Alright, so we'll pop the motor out. Because, of course. These are rather coarse thread. Hung up behind the wiring. There we go. Sure she doesn't go spraying all over the place. Guess I can shut it off. Let's see if we can pop this thing out of here. Oh dear. Yikes. What in the world happened? Wow. That's, doesn't look like it's stripped. It just got completely jacked up. My goodness. Wow. That's held in place by something. I wonder if there's a way to rewind that and make it work again. I don't know. We'll see what we got. Oh boy. Oh yeah. This thing is junk. Wait. It doesn't look like the wire broke, but it surely wasn't getting happy. And that is truly suboptimal. Not quite sure what we're going to do with this. So at this point, I guess the first thing I'm going to do is see if I can put the window up all the way. Now that it's disconnected, see if I can pull the window all the way up. Alright. So that looks like it's going to be able to be run all the way up to the top. So the window itself isn't bad, the tracks are okay, and everything else in here is a disaster. So we're gonna have to go look at the other truck and see what, yeah, the tracks look all right, but we're gonna have to go look at the truck, at the other truck, and see if that regulator can be swapped out. Because, yeah, I don't think that's terribly salvageable. So I'm gonna go pull the other truck apart in the same manner, and then we'll be back to take a look at that to see if it's similar. Well, unfortunately, the one on the junk truck is the same as the one on my truck, but it is radically different than this one. So that's not gonna do it. So, man, look at the size of this bracketry BS. I'm gonna have to go see if there is a way to get the regulator, and man, what that's gonna be like. So that's gonna be fun. But we're gonna go try to see what we can find out. Otherwise, this window is gonna get blocked up with a board just to hold it up until I can figure out what I'm going to do with it interim anyway, because they're going on a trip at the end of this week. Yippee. Yeah, well, the local auto zone, well, not the local one, but the 24-hour auto zone down in the city has the whole regulator in stock, sans motor, but that's okay because the motor seems to work, so that's good. So I'm going to run and get that, and I've changed the lock actuator, the electronic lock actuator for this thing as well, which is tucked way down in there, and that's a pain to fix when the regulator's in, but since the regulator has to come out, I figure, well, we might as well fix that while we're at it. And so we're going to go get all of that garbage and see what we can do to maybe even make this a little better than it has been, because maybe then the automatic door locks will work on this side. So I'm going to close this up, get it back in the damn garage in case it rains, and make a old parts store run. So, never ends, but we'll be back. Well, there's 200 bucks worth of crap, but still cheaper than a car payment if I can get her fixed. Window regulator for the 03 driver's front, 740-178, Dorman's Special. Most of you probably don't like them, but whatever. That's all I can get. And the door lock actuator, the TLA, 136, also driver's front. So I'm going to go get a new battery for the camera, open this stuff up, and see what we've got. Alright. Not much going on here. Little lock popper is all that is, but it's extremely difficult to get to. Alright, and there is the regulator in all its glory. And bentness? It's kind of wacky. I guess that's right. Speaker mount, door handle mount, cables that aren't exploded, window mount, So I am thinking probably shouldn't do because it gets me in trouble. We're gonna have to get that speaker out of there, get all that wiring off of there, possibly pull the window, which is most likely going to require moving all of this trim. Then maybe we can get that disaster out of there. Oh, yeah, is this going to be fun? Okay. So we're going to get the rest of that water shield off and see what we got. Probably get the speaker out of there too, because that just looks like it's 4 7mm-ish screws. So that's what we're going to do now. Alright, so now the speaker's out. I'm going to try to get this wiring harness out of here. Okay, that was easy enough. Get that off of there. Alright, that one's disconnected. That one's disconnected. That one's disconnected. And that one's disconnected. Alright, we get the wiring harness disconnected from all of its little push pins. Now, I'm going to pull this foam off. See what it takes to get that out of there. Oh, good Lord, don't tell me that's a pin. Oh, man. Back in a minute. It's a pin. A little bumper in there and everything. So that has to come out by pushing a pin. A little metal pin in there. Focus, you fudge. By punching that metal pin out. And I'm kind of hoping that because of the way it's constructed, if we come over here again, that we can pop it down from the top and get it just through that, and then have it pop out this way without having the whole spring go spurring and throw parts everywhere. Alright, so that was partially disastrous, but conveniently it only broke the piece that I don't need anymore. The handle is out. I did not break the handle, thank goodness, because I'm an imbecile. And I probably could have YouTubed this, just like you guys are doing if you're watching this mess, but that goes in there. That's what the pull is. But we're going to look at this, and there is actually a step on the bottom that wouldn't allow it to go down. But I'm thinking, now that I look at it, you may have been able to pick up on it and pull it out. So that's probably what I should have done, is picked up on it and pull it out. But conveniently, the only thing that broke is the crappy window regulator that's already a disaster, so that doesn't matter. But yeah, learn from me. Try pulling up on it and then doing that. So we're going to figure that out when we put it back together, but that's kind of what it looks like it's supposed to do. Kind of put it in there like that, and then I don't know, I still don't know how that's supposed to go in there without breaking. Yeah, that's exactly what it's supposed to do. It slides in from the bottom, you pull up on it and pull it out. Good grief. Okay, well, conveniently we didn't break the important part. So this is garbage, and now this, let's make sure that's just pushed in there. Yeah, and we should hopefully be able to pop that bad boy out of there. Yep. Alright, that's good. Free. And I think the regulator is free. So yeah, don't hit that with a hammer. It's not necessary. But if you don't care, it's already broke. So just be careful not to break the door handle. Get lucky like I did. What's your superpower? I'm lucky. So, Now it appears that we've got maybe some 10s or 11, yeah, maybe 10 millimeters here, a couple up here, probably one here, and here, and here. These, yeah, and this is kind of curved, so that's fine. It does appear to be good. These are the important ones because those are the rails. And now I'm pretty sure that is not coming out while it is attached to the window. So, alright, I think what I'm going to try to do is read the directions, but if I can't figure out the directions, I'm going to detach the two little 10 millimeters that hold the window in. Conveniently, they actually give you holes for it. The other Fords, my truck, you got to drill holes for them. I'm going to detach those, pull the window up, and tape it up out of the way, just around the top. I think that might give me enough room to get this mess out of there. But we're going to read the instructions first, just for grins and giggles. And they probably told me how to take that handle off too. Alright, so as because of course would have it, that's exactly what the instructions say to do. Pull these two screws, pull the window up, and tape it in place. That is what we are going to endeavor to do. Good God. Okay, that's uncomfortable. Different wrench. Oh, really? Yep, that just happened. Because, of course it did. Guess I should have kept going with the impact. Alright, well, we'll deal with that. When it comes out, that's fantastic. The thing on the window is just kind of clipped onto the window. Interesting. Why do these have to come off? I don't know. But, at any rate, just no good way to do that. Alright, we're going to shut this off and swear at it some more. Back in a minute. Alright, so now we're going to try to remove, since the window is detached and held up badly, hopefully I can fix whatever the hell screwed up in there when those bolts wouldn't come out. That's something. So we're going to take these. At least those come out better. Alright, well, I guess we just got these. And of course, the light died. Back in a second. Alright, well that floppy disaster is basically unhooked. Now we're going to see how to finagle it out of there. Which, given this is so screwed up, maybe less entertaining than we hope. Part of it. Turn this guy and get it up. What a mess. Alright, let's set this disaster on the ground and see what we've got. But all sorts of room to get the lock actuator now, which is a true pain in the butt with that regulator in there. Now, the window may never go back in because for whatever reason, these pieces did not come off the regulator. On either side, the screws bound up. And they didn't bend at all. Everything looks okay. But those screws did not come out. And so those pieces should have stayed attached to the window because they go right here. And they did not. So that's what I'm concerned about, is getting that off and back together again. So that's going to be fun without messing up these stupid sheet metal window holder things. And I can crimp those back together a little bit so they just grab the window. Because that's the only thing holding the window on, is that. But really, it's just get that assembly in place, bolt it up, and put it back together. If those pieces hadn't come off, oh, and it actually has a couple of new screws, which may help me if I have to cut those, or drill them out or something. So, this ought to be entertaining. Anyway, we're going to see about getting that lock actuator out now, because that's about the next thing I want to do. Well, no, I think I'm going to try to get these stupid pieces off here. Yeah, I mean, it's just, there is a, oh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's a nut. Okay. Well, the directions didn't say that. It's a nut. Why would they put a... because Ford. Man, I figured that was going to be tacked in there, but it doesn't look like it. So we're going to get a 10mm wrench and see if that will come off. Let's hope. Alright, they're both off. Unfortunately, one of them broke. And after I did that, I decided, well, you can't hold tension if you're liquid, and heated it. Still pretty hot, but thanks Ford for the blue Loctite on the bolts. Ugh. I don't know how in the world you would heat that as much as I needed to break that loose without absolutely shattering that glass. Because, I mean, we cooked it until the powder coating was on fire, and it's been a couple of minutes and I still can't handle the piece with my bare hands. So, we're going to drill this one out, clean it up, and maybe make use of one of these, or maybe one of the other random screws, because they all look to be about the same. Yep. So I'll have an extra screw if I can get that drilled out and that not mark up the threads or buck up the threads all that much. I can use one of these, and we'll use these two for tying that in, and we'll be good. But yeah, I'm thinking that the Illinois Special Rust just on the inside of that door was just enough to bind that up. And since I didn't heat this one, it kicked my butt. But she's about to get set on fire. So we'll be back after I correct this disaster. Pardon this disaster of a bench, but I have an idea. I'm going to try something. Ford uses, as always, 40-foot long bolts. Maybe this time it'll buy me something. Come on, baby. Didn't think that was going to work. You want to put that much heat on your glass? Thanks, Ford. Woo! Yeah. Good Lord. Alright, now that we have that disaster disposed of, I think we're going to be okay, because the window really, it's got some silicone on it, and there's some goo in the bottom of these slots. I'll just be able to silicone it back up, tell her to leave it closed for a day. Hopefully that should be good once we clean it up. But both of the screws, my used screw from the rest of the thing and that, luckily we got a couple of these here, which will make up for the one that I just had to use. And that should give us room to play. Now we're going to tackle the door lock actuator. And this had failed before I bought the truck, and I bought a cheapo off of Amazon, which lasted about a month, and of course took a dump. And I'm trying to remember how it attaches, because the only thing holding it on is this thing here, this clippy thing, and that's up against the door jamb here. In here, as you can see, that side is over the back side here. Let's get out of the way. That's way back here. I'm trying to remember how all that comes out. I think we're going to try to unplug the clip. Maybe. Oh, this car. 1 second. Let's see if we can do it. There she goes. That's one. Alright, that's the only thing that holds that in. And now, wiring can get out of the way. And I'm going to try to remember how to get that out of there. I honestly think what I had to do is pull the entire striker assembly. Yeah, that's what it was. Had to pull these 3 Torx screws. The entire striker assembly comes out. And all of the rods have to be disconnected. And once the entire striker assembly comes out, then you can swap that piece around. So we're going to pull these 3 Torx screws, and we'll be back in a minute. Alright, so 3 screws are out. This whole disaster is loose. And now we can try to finagle all of this stuff out of here without bending it and ruining it, which is really something. But anyway, you got to figure out how to get all of this disaster disconnected. I think the one at the top, that little red one over there, see if we can get, the white one down below has a V to the back that you have to kind of spread open and it'll pop out. The door locker can actually stay attached and go out the bottom. And this piece is the piece that attaches to that, which will just come out of this clip. So I'm going to put this down, get a pair of needle nose, and see what I can screw up to try to get those 2 things up here taken care of. Alright, the only way to get that red one out is to actually disconnect everything else and then swing the unit up and over and push it out with the clip. That's it. This one you can pry open the white pieces with a screwdriver and then push it backwards and it'll pop out no problem. the lock piece just pulls down and this just pulls off. But anyway, what a mess. So that's all that thing is. It's held on there like that. Not much to it. Looks the same, sort of. There's, I'm sure, a lock tab some bloody where. Yeah. So I think you got to get in here with a screwdriver, like that, and then I think it can just, let's try this. Yep, that's it. It just slides out. Garbage. The only thing you gotta do, oh, it broke. That one broke. Cheap garbage. This one, let's hope, is a little stouter. So we're gonna slide that back in, make sure you get this thing lined up in that hole. And that's the important piece of this automatic locky unlocky doohickey. As it moves the whole bloody assembly. So we're gonna try to line that baby up. See the little cleft up the top here and the bottom. Line that up. Line the back side up, better than that. And hell, I may have broke that when I put it together because it was in the car. Trying to get it together square. Not like that. Come on. Yeah, this is going to be a fabulous video. This is what you get for old Fords. And there it is, just push it on. Make sure that pin is in there. And now redo the whole faff to stick it back in. That can be done with the window regulator in. Because I did it. And it failed immediately. So that's why I haven't done it again, because it was not easy. Getting that thing out of there, unhooking all those rods and all that garbage while that entire regulator was still in place was a disaster. But only marginally less so than this. So we're going to try to hook all this stupid stuff back up and maybe even test it. Because the auto locks didn't work on this side, obviously, because the actuator was broken. So we're going to try. Alright, well, I'm not going to plug the whole regulator back in, but we got it in. We got those pieces back on, got them fished through. The lock works, the handle works, everything works. The only thing we don't know if it works is the silly connector plug thing. In worst case, it's the same as it used to be. So we will carry on getting that disaster of a regulator back in here, which really ought to be something, because I don't really have a lot of good light. So we're going to see what we can do to get this mess and then these back in there. Of course it's broke. So you get for trying to save 20 bucks. Do it again. Alright, well, the instructions say install new regulator and reattach window. Very helpful. We're going to give it a shot. Take out those extra screws first. Thank you for that. Saved me the disaster of having broken one of them. It does kind of look like these pieces are in about the right spot for that, but its second step is attach the window motor and move it up and down until you can get them in to line up with these holes. Yeah, here. So we're going to see how big of a faff this is about to be. Can't go up much higher than that, so we'll try to put that back there first. No, it's got to go on this side first. Honestly, I think it has to go in. These things are only held on with little rubber bumpers, and one of them pulled out on this side because I was apparently too rough on it. It didn't like it. So we're going to figure out how to get that in there without doing that, which I haven't a damn clue how we're going to do. That side's in. Kinda. Still attached. Maybe we can slide that guy over there. But now, oh man, come on. Okay, got that. I don't know how, without tweaking the crap out of this thing, get that back there. I can get that back there, but that's going to leave that outside. This one's still attached, so that's a bonus. Get you out of the way. Good gracious. Ooh, come on. Oh, I pulled that out. Alright, well, what I'm going to do is secure the frame and then put that back in afterwards. God. To the 10 millimeters. Alright. So it's on. I don't know that that matters in the grand scheme of things because it's attached up here and down here. I think that's just to hold it together in the right orientation for you to get it in there. So it's screwed in, I'm not worried about it. Frame's good. There's a pin up here you got to sink into a hole in this, so don't tighten these two side ones until the top ones have gone in and are snug. Yeah, so, okay. Now I guess we can start putting some of our wiring harness back. And that is just the reverse of before. I'm going to get this thing slapped back in place. Get the speaker in maybe, and see if this train wreck might deign to work. Who knows? Okay, that's the motor plug. Alright, so let's see. This goes, I think, oh man, I'm getting tired. But this goes here, this goes there, this clips over at that, thusly. That's all good. This goes in there, like that. This goes up here, maybe, like that. This goes there, even though it's not really holding much. This thing goes somewhere. I think it goes there. And these are all the door handle connectors, the speaker connector back here. So, okay, we're going to put the door motor back in, like it says. And I think then I'm going to install the clips on this thing, on the window regulator, like they're supposed to be. And then we're going to glue it up with all sorts of goo and slide the window down into it, and then hopefully run the window up. But I don't know that I'm going to film too much of that. We'll be back. Okay. Not going to go all the way up because I don't want to hit the window. But she seems to work, which is a bonus. Now we're going to stick the speaker back in and see if I can get that window to attach to this thing. Alright, so I have actually plugged everything in. I tested the lock actuator. It does work. And now I have put these back in, as big of a pain in the tutu as that was. And I have filled them full as much as I can with the nastiest black goo silicone that I have. So now we're going to try to set this damn thing in the tracks. Alright, let's see what happens here. This is going to be ridiculous. Okay. Okay. It's kind of going where it's supposed to. Alright, there's one. And there's two. And they are gummed up. Goo coming out everywhere. Snug them up, make sure they're tight. Alright. Plug this disaster back in. Good start already. She actually wants to run. So, looks solid. I think we're in good shape. So now we're going to put the inside track back on. Try to get the door put back together. See if I can put this door handle back on appropriately. That's good. All right, there's my next trick. Now we got to get the door handle back on. All right. Now the hard part's done. Let's find the, and yeah, I can kind of see by this slidey notch piece here, which you can't see because of the damn light. Let's try that. The way that's grooved, so it goes in from the bottom, pushes up, and then slides in rather than beating the crap out of it from the top like I was doing earlier. So we're going to try that in just a minute. Alright, so that little ball needs to go in there. Turn like that. We're going to try to put this in thusly and push up on it. Huh. Really? Yep, she releases. Yep. That's how you do it. Push it in and up from the bottom. Stupid Fords. Alright. Let's get the mirror plugged back in, the mirror switch. Actually, what I need to do now is get the water barrier back on. That's what we're going to do now. Alright, and again, we've showed this before. These hooks need to go in, not the hole where that wire's coming out. So that's dumb. That needs to be moved. Go over here. I thought so. That's a hole for the damn hook. That wire goes down that way somehow for some silly reason. There we go. There. I think that's correct. Oh, maybe it's this way. Probably like that. We'll try that. They only go one way. But make sure you get your hooks lined up, otherwise bad things are going to happen. So, let's figure out which one of these silly things goes to the mirror. It does not seem to be the green one. It does seem to be the white one. And so, we need to move all of that garbage around. Get that thing in place. Get your lock popper up through the hole, which is rather difficult with the window out, with the window up. And we're almost in, except for the lock, which I can't see. And it's very difficult now with the window up to do that. So we're going to pause this and try something different. Okay, so next we got to put this thing back together. Get all of our wires out of here. That just kind of pops in. Sorry, there, still there. All right, now we got this cover, which again goes over this mess, pops on, and that's it. What are you hitting? I don't know. But if that's the only hardship we have, I think we've done pretty good. Let's see if she closes. It opens. I haven't checked it from the inside. Let's try it. Oh man. Oh, I'm sure this is a fascinating video. Yeah, it's got a little hitch in its giddy up, but in the grand scheme of a new window regulator, which I do know works, but I'm going to let that silicone dry for a day before my daughter can use it, although it is already moving it. Whew, that was a thing. It is now, oh, for crying out loud. It is now my stupid, useless Fitbit not telling me what damn time it is. Why do I even have this dumb thing? Jesus Christmas. Oh, well. Anyway, I don't know what time it is. Looks like it's about 8 or 9 o'clock. I don't know. But we got it done. It's working again. This video was a disaster. But that's what happens when you're working on Fords. Especially old ones. But in the grand scheme of things, it's still cheaper than a car payment. Because this truck, at 160-ish thousand miles, is still running good. And I really don't have any qualms about them taking it up to Dallas this next weekend. So I'm glad the window regulator broke here and not there, because that's kind of the risk you take with a 18-year-old vehicle. Oh, good, the moth is on the inside of the truck. Good, that's fantastic. Get out of here. But anyway, I'm thankful to all y'all who've tagged along to the end of this mess. If that's at all helpful, I apologize. Anyway, I'm gonna go try to get some dinner and hit the sack, because it's about time to go to work in about 6 hours. So, hope y'all are having a good day. We will talk to y'all later. Hopefully next time we're working on something fun like the 37. Y'all take care.